Let me go over the architecture very soon. So there are two entities, the project manager and the developer. So what the manager does is he lists whatever tasks he has. He creates a project and he takes a particular bounty for each of the tasks in within the project. So a project can be create a website and there can be different tasks that create front end, create back end. So everything can have a bounty. And coming on to the secondary developer, the developer can go to our website. He can choose any network. So we have these are the networks we will be interacting with, and this is the whole of the app is cross chain. You can use any of the tokens of any of the networks. And what happens is the developer basically goes to the project, he selects the project, and he basically submits a proposal saying that I want to work for this project. So once he submits a proposal, the admin, the project manager, basically sees all of the proposals within the project and selects the best proposal out of it. And then what happens is now when the developer completes writing its code, he basically signs the code using sign protocol. He basically attests for the code he has written using sign protocol. And here is where we use our interactive zk mechanisms. So what happens is the project manager defines all of the rules, whatever he is required, what are the requirements of this particular task, what he expects out of this task. So he defines the rules and sends it to our zk circuit. This is basically interactive zkp. So the rules will be interactive, and whatever the code the developer writes, he basically submits to our circuit. uh, then we basically the developer is basically the prover and the project manager is basically the verifier. So the developer puts in the code, the project manager puts in the input output he expects. We basically run a zk mechanism within the chain which validates the code uh, in contrast to the input output, and checks if the code is performs as expected or not. So basically, we have used Chainlink as of now, so that we could basically send the code to the smart contract, and the smart contract uh, calls different nodes to execute the code, and the best uh, output among these nodes, they form a consensus and give the best output of it, out of it. So Chainlink helps in completing our zk circuit. So yes, this is all about it. And once the code is verified through zk proofs, the funds, the amount which was initially put as bounty, will be automatically released to the project developer. So this is the page where developer can come and see all of the listed projects. Now, as a project manager, I can come and click on create project. After create project, I can basically fill in all of the details about the hackathon. Now, as a developer, I could basically submit a proposal of a particular task. So I can list my motivation, the amount I'm willing to bid, amount I'll work for, what is the duration, and what I can do and what I can't do. So I'm basically submitting a proposal of completing that particular task as a developer. So once submitted, submit my proposal, the project manager can either approve or reject from a list of proposals. So if I'm approved, so this is the next step of it. So where I can basically submit my task, submit all of the code which I have written as a developer for this task. I can basically put it here in this particular console, and I can test for it. So this is where the interactive zk comes into play. So as you can see, suppose like the task was add two numbers. So I basically created a code to add two numbers. I put the inputs as one and two, and I submitted it to the smart contract. The smart contract basically distributed it among all of the nodes, and all of the nodes had its own computation of evaluating the code. And once they reach a consensus and give me the best output out of it, see that it's making a request to all of the nodes to the smart contract, and smart contract is sending the request to all of the nodes. And sometime I'll be receiving a response. Yeah, this is the response from the best consensus received from all of the nodes, and I got so if I put 5 and 7 as input, I got 12 as output. So I can basically check, I can interact with the project manager's expectations. So yes, now to the next part of a project, it's the voting mechanism. So I can basically attest for a project which I like, which I've previously worked on, which I know it's genuine. So I have used sign protocol for this, and as you can see, my balance is getting reduced.